when people try to get a page rank value that is not deserved, then that was referred to by some people as Google bombing. And so really another way of saying what that means is that you can refer to that as link bombing. I think I've already talked about some of the financial arguments, reasons why people are doing spam. And sometimes people are also doing spam to introduce viruses to computers and to break some system down and things like that. And there may also be some other reasons, such as political messages that people want to propagate and other kinds of ways they want to manipulate society. So from a user point of view, the problems are that you have reduced quality of results, inappropriate or unwanted content, and misleading or, basically some various kinds of misinformation. And from a search engine point of view, one of the biggest issues is that, they have to counter these people who are spamming, and in order to do the counter, they have to have a lot of additional software, additional checking that has to happen. And instead of using the ranking in a normal way, they have to add additional methods or additional components to how ranking is computed. And it's something that they don't like, but they have to live with it, and they need to combat that. Anyhow, we don't have a very large group, and as I go into the detail, there may be some things that are not so very clear. So feel free to interrupt me. You're welcome to ask questions anytime you wish. So some people treat this web spam as a classification problem. In the area of data mining and text mining, the problem of classification is very studied for many, many years. It's studied by researchers in many allied fields like data mining and pattern recognition and machine learning. So our machine learning community has made big impact to improvement of approaches for classification. Also, the classification depends on how you describe them, how you describe pages, what kind of features you draw, what kind of features you apply to pages, and this game of spamming and counter spamming is not static. It's always changing. You come up with a solution, and then they come up with a new idea, and so it goes back and forth. So it's really like an arms race, and so the problem of deciding what the salient features are is also, dynamic. It's, you may have some good features at some stage, and it works, and at a later stage you may need to find additional features or new features. So here I just quickly go through some evolution in terms of how the area of spam has evolved. And so just for convenience, we just called it as generation. I don't know if everybody else uses these terms, but I just call them like first generation, second generation, and so on. So the first generation is basically exploiting how statistical keyword-based retrieval is done. How keyword-based retrieval is implemented, and it's basically implemented by studying words and frequencies of words, and frequencies of words within document, frequencies of words across documents, and things like that. And so since you know, okay, search engines are doing that, then you can say, well, I'm going to have certain words to have more frequency in my web pages. And sometimes you can have some words in your web pages, but they can be within meta tags that are hidden, within hidden meta tags. And when they're in hidden meta tags, they're not displayed, but the search engines will still see them, and they will use them in ranking, and they will be misled. The second generation is basically made on the assumption that each link to a web page is a vote to that page. It's almost like a recommendation. If you give a link to some page, that means you are recommending that page to others. And so, basically, what the spammers try to do is to get more people to point to their page or create some dummy pages, and all those dummy pages point to their page. And by making all those such dummy pages point to their page, they can get more votes and they can get more recommendations. In a third generation, this is sort of the time in terms of when many search engines begin to use methods like page ranking or other similar methods. I'll talk about another one later on that is called HITS, or HITS, and HITS is an acronym for hyperlink-induced topic search. And so in that context, sorry, I pushed the wrong button here. So in this context, they're like the companies can exchange links with each other, and some of them may not be necessarily valid links. And then there are ideas like cloaking, where you think you're going to a certain page, but then you get redirected to another page where you didn't desire to go. And then, in many blogs, people are subsequently able to add comments, and then, when they add comments to blogs, they can add some links to their page, and that way they can increase the number of incoming links. So, as I mentioned before, these methods are, the research that we are currently doing is, you can say, falls generally within this third generation family of techniques. And so I want to introduce a couple of basic things just as a background. And a very famous one is this PageRank, which is a link analysis algorithm. And if a particular page is page I that's of interest, then the PageRank essentially tries to compute what is the probability that someone will get to page I, this particular page. And the probability is computed in terms of all the other pages that point to page I. So the variable j here is all the pages, incoming links to page I. And then this d and 1 minus d, they're sort of, it's used as a parameter. And the parameter basically says, with some probability, I will be from the current page, I will follow a link in the page. And then with some probability, I'll just jump to another page at random. So this is the probability of following a link, and this is the probability of jumping to some other place. And this is the total number of